Hi everyone and welcome to Ada's Chinese Corner. 欢迎大家到阿的华语角. In this video, I want to give you a short introduction to static verbs and the difference between them and adjectives. Even if you don't know Chinese, you must have heard the sentence 你好. It is a sentence, only 2 words, but a sentence can also be 1 word or 2 words. Sentences don't necessarily have to be long. So everyone has heard 你好, or as it's commonly pronounced as 你好. And if you watch my other videos about the pronunciation, then you know it's pronounced 你好. 你好 means you, 你 is you, and 好 is good. So if I translate it literally, you say, you good. Now how would we say that in English? Well, we would say, you are good. Did you notice the absence of are of the verb to be in Chinese? Well, that is because in Chinese, an adjective has the word to be already in it most of the times. And we call these in Chinese grammar static verbs. A static verb is an adjective with to be already in it. So 好 is an adjective. But what is the difference then between an adjective and a static verb? A static verb is used in a sentence like I just had. If you want to describe something and you say this or this person is such and such, has this quality, like good or not good. Not is 不. 不好 means not good. So 你不好 means you are not good. But we don't say that. We don't say the are. We just say you not good. And if I use 不好 as not good as an adjective, it would come before a noun. Just like in English. A good book. A bad book. A good movie. A bad movie. Let's stick with 好, good. Let's say you are shopping around for a house and you go and take a look at the house and you say, this house is pretty good. It's a good house. A good house in Chinese would be 好的房子. 好的房子. 房子 is house. 好 is good. And did you hear I placed something between 好 and 房子? It's 的. The is together most of the times with an adjective. So if you want to place an adjective before a noun, then you can place 的 in front of it. I say can because it's not always done. The more you learn Chinese, then you can also discern when people or you might use 的 and might not use 的. But for learning purposes, we will use 的 in between the adjective and a noun. 好的房子, a good house. I could also say a bad house. 不好的房子. That is just an example. You look at the house and say 好的房子. You're just saying a good house. What if you want to say this house is good? You say 这所房子很好. 这所房子很好. It means this house is good. I have to make a grammatical side note here to explain the sentence maybe a little bit. 这 or 这 means this. 房子 means house. But in Chinese, you can never just say this house, like you do in English. You have to put something in between this or that, or even a counting word. Every noun falls into a category, and that category has a specific measure word. Well, the measure word for house is 所. 一所房子 means a house or one house. 三所房子 means 3 houses. In English, we don't use that measure words. In English, we do have measure words, but we don't use them in that way every time. If I have a number or words like this or that or those, in Chinese, you have to.
So, end of grammatical sign note.
这所房子很好. So, this house is good. Also notice that I put 很 in front of 好. It's just common practice to put the word 很, which means very, in front of an adjective. It doesn't always mean very, but it's just for the cadence of a sentence. It just sounds better. Let's try another adjective. Let's try the word for fast. The word for fast in Chinese is 快. 快. So, he is fast. How would you say that? 他很快. 他很快. Or 他快. Also acceptable. But as I said before, most of the times it is very common to add 很 in front of an adjective. So, 他很快. Notice I don't use the word for to be, 是. I don't say 他是很快. You could do that, but then you really want to emphasize, yes, he is very fast. But most of the times, if you just want to say he is fast, you say 他很快. 他很快. 他 is the word for he or she. 他很快. And if I use 快 in front of a noun, can you think of an example yourself? How about a fast car? Car can be 汽车 or 车子. So, fast is 快. 快的车子 means a fast car. 快的车子 or 很快的车子, a very fast car. And you can put it in a sentence as well. Instead of just saying, a fast car. You can say, I like fast cars. 我喜欢快的车子. 我喜欢快的车子. I like fast cars. 我喜欢 means I like. 我喜欢快的车子. I like fast cars. So let me recap. If you want to use an adjective after a form of to be, like he is fast, you say 他很快. You don't use the verb to be, 是. Don't do that. Same goes for good. You say 你好. You don't say 你是好. You are good. Don't have to do that. So in Chinese, the verb to be is omitted. And another thing we've learned today is if you want to use an adjective in front of a noun, you have to use 的. 快的车子. 快的车子. A fast car. 好的房子. A good house. And while we're on the subject of adjectives, I have to tell you a little bit more about them. We've also talked about verbs before. A verb like 吃, which means to eat. In Chinese, you will hear lots of times, because eating is very important, 好吃, 好吃. We've learned that 好 means good. 吃 is to eat. Good to eat. In English, we wouldn't say good to eat. Oh, we would, but we would just use the word delicious or tasty. So in Chinese, we can put the word 好 in front of a verb, and it becomes an adjective in English, like tasty. Let me give you a few more examples, and maybe you can guess what they mean. First one, 好看, 好看. Do you remember what 看 means? 看 means to watch or to see. So 好看 just means good to watch. It can be beautiful as well. When you say something or somebody is beautiful, you can use 好看. There are other adjectives as well, but you will learn that later. 好看, or maybe you have already learned that. Number 2, 好喝, 好喝. 喝 means to drink. So 好喝 means good to drink. In English, you would also just say it's tasty or delicious, or you would even say good to drink. 好玩, 好玩. The third one is 好玩. 玩 means to play. So 好玩 means good to play. Fun, 好玩. And of course, we can also ask questions, or people will ask you questions. Even questions as simple as 好玩吗? Which means, was it fun? Or are you having fun? How do we answer? By just repeating 好 plus the verb. 好玩 means fun. Yes, it was fun. So in Chinese, we've seen that before as well. There aren't exactly words for yes and no. You can use a word like 对, which is correct. You can also answer that. But most of the times, you just repeat what the other person has just said. 好吃吗? Do you like it? Is it tasty? Do you like to eat it? 好吃, it's delicious. 好喝吗? Is it good to drink? Is it delicious? 好喝? Yes, it is. And what if you don't like it? You just say, if people ask you, 好吃吗? 不好吃. I don't like it. It's not delicious. 好看吗? Was it good to watch? Was it beautiful? 不好看. No, it wasn't. It wasn't beautiful. Let's end this video with a few adjectives and their opposites. 难过 means to be sad. 快乐 means to be happy. 快乐 happy. 难过 sad. 聪明 means smart. 笨 means stupid. 笨 stupid. 笨. Expensive is 贵 Cheap is 便宜 cheap. This one we've already seen. 快 fast 快. Then how to say slow? 慢 is slow. If something smells nice, is fragrant, you say 香 as in 香港, fragrant harbor, Hong Kong. 香 If something is very smelly, stinky, you would say 臭 like 臭豆腐 as in stinky tofu, which is one of my most favorite dishes. I love stinky tofu. 臭豆腐. So stinky tofu. 臭 is smelly. If something is beautiful, we can say 好看. Okay. We can also say 漂亮, which means beautiful. 漂亮 beautiful. If something is ugly, you would say 丑 Not to be confused with the one you heard before, 臭. So one is fourth tone, 臭, and the other one is third tone, 丑 ugly. Big and small. Big is 大 Small is 小 And what's interesting is that if you put those two together, if you put big and small right after each other. 大小,大小 is the word for size. 大小. And if you talk about a shoe size or a clothing size, you would say 大小. The word for tall or high is 高,高. And the word for short is 矮,矮. Then we have long, 长,长. And the word for short is 短,短. The word for new is 新,新. Same pronunciation as heart. 新, it's only a different character. And the word for old is 旧,旧. Another word for old, but as an age, is 老,老. And the word for young is 年轻,年轻. That is because the word 轻 means to be light, as in weight, light of weight. So 年轻 means to be light of years, not have many years, so to be young. 轻 is light. And how to say heavy? 重,重. So heavy is 重. In Chinese, how would you say if somebody is rich? You say 有钱,有钱. 有钱 literally means have money. So in Chinese, if you say somebody is rich, you just say have money. 他有钱 means he is rich, he has a lot of money. And how do you say when somebody is poor? You will say 穷 or 贫穷. Usually, we just use the word 穷. 他很穷 means he is poor. And the last one for this video is how do you say it when somebody is very gentle? And he's very nice. You would say 温柔,温柔. Somebody speaks in a very nice manner and you say 温柔. If somebody is very fierce, is the opposite of being gentle, you say 凶,凶,凶, which means you're very fierce, you are not nice to people. So in this video, you have learned something about adjectives and how to use them. And the fact that if you use an adjective, you put de if you want to put it in front of a noun. And you don't have to use the word to be if you want to put it after the subject. So we don't say 你是好, but we just say 你好, which means you good. And in English we would say, of course, you are good. So until the next video, keep on practicing. 继续加油.